Alright, so we're doing the Numeracy Non-Calculator Year 9 exam. Okay, question 1. A shop sells balloons in bags of 5. For a party, 20 balloons are needed. How many bags of balloons are needed? Well, if one holds 5, we are going to need 4, because 4 times 5 equals 20. So that will be our answer. So Joe measures a distance to be 5 meters and 12 centimeters. Which of these shows Joe can write this measurement in meters? So we need to know that 12 centimeters is the same as 0.12 meters. So remember, 1 meter equals 100 centimeters. So anytime you want to convert from centimeters to meters, we just need to divide by 100. So when you have 12 centimeters, dividing that by 100 gives us, and to divide, you just move your decimal place back 2 places, and that gives us 0.12 meters. Now, the total distance was 5 meters and 12 centimeters, so that will be 5 plus 0.12, and that will be 5.12 meters. And that's this. So 3. A bag contains 15 beads that are either red or yellow. The probability of randomly removing a red bead is 20%. What is the probability of randomly removing a yellow bead? So probabilities add up to 100. And so if probability of removing the red bead is 20%, the probability of the yellow bead will be 100 minus 20, which is 80%. So being told that it contains 15 beads is really irrelevant to answering this question. Amelia wants to find the number of people who are enrolled in either a music class or a drama class, but not both. Which shaded region in the Venn diagrams represents the information Amelia is looking for? Alright, so for this question, we need to know how a Venn diagram works. So when working with Venn diagrams, we draw a circle for each option that we have. So the first option we have is they either like music class or they like drama class. And everyone inside this circle likes music class. Everyone inside this circle likes drama class. But everyone inside this part which overlaps between the two likes both. Now, because we want to know how many people are enrolled in either one or the other, but not both, that means that is really this part. So all of this part represents people enrolled in music class, but not drama class. And everyone in here represents people enrolled in drama class, but not music class. So what we are looking for is a Venn diagram that has this part shaded in and this part shaded in for music class and drama class, but not the middle part, because the middle part represents people enrolled in both the classes. So that's our answer. All right, let's look at question 5. Point P is translated down 4 units. What are the coordinates of the new position of point P? So if it's translated down 4 units, we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, and end up here as the new coordinate. Now, when we write our coordinate, we always write our x coordinate first and then our y coordinate. The x coordinate for P, if I go up, is 2. And the y coordinate for P, if we go look on the y-axis, is -1. And that's our first option here. Okay, so let's continue with question 6. The heights in centimeter of children on the tennis team are as follows. Select the dot plot that correctly displays the data. Alright, so each dot represents one child. So as we have one child with the height of 117, we would expect one dot on 117, and all 3 of them have that. Then we have no children with 118 centimeters height, but this option shows 2 children with that height, so we know that this is not the option. Then we have 2 children that have a height of 119 centimeters, and this option is showing us just 1 child with 119 centimeters of height, but this option here is showing us 2. So this is our answer. And we can just double check that. We should have no 120, 121 in our data points. We should have 122, yes, 124, 3 127, 1, 2, 3, and 1 128. Yeah, so that's our answer for sure. Okay, let's move on to number 7. Beth made a ramp to replace a set of steps that were 0.5 meters high. The ratio of the horizontal length of the ramp to its height is 12:1. What is the horizontal length of the ramp? Okay, so this is the ratio of the length to height. So that means the length of the ramp is going to be 12 times whatever the height of the ramp is. And we're told has a set of steps that were 0.5 meters high. So if our height is 0.5, the length is going to be that times 12, which is 6 meters. And that's this. Question 8. Tom joins a gym that has a monthly fee of $56. Members pay an extra $6 per session if they want to work with a gym trainer. Which expression represents Tom's monthly gym bill if he works with a trainer for X sessions during the month? Alright, so in this question we want to make an algebraic expression for what's written. Now he has a monthly fee of $56, so regardless of how many sessions he has with the trainer, he will always pay $56. Plus, he pays $6 per session with the gym trainer. So for example, if he had 2 sessions, he would pay 6 times 2, $12. If he had 3 sessions, he would pay 6 times 3, $18. So if he has X sessions, he's going to pay 6 times X on top of the $56 monthly fee. So we're looking for this expression. And that's here. Let's look at question 9. Grace throws a ball from a height of 2 meters. The maximum height of the ball after it is thrown is 4 meters. Let's just underline the important numbers here. The ball lands on the ground about 2 seconds after it is thrown. Which graph represents the path of Grace's ball? So we know that it is thrown from a height of 2 meters. So when it's thrown, so at 0 seconds, when it's thrown, we need the height to be 2 meters. So this graph is showing that it's starting off at 2. This graph at 0 is starting off at 2. This graph is saying that at 0 seconds, the ball had a height of 0 meters. So this is not our answer. And this graph is saying that at 0 seconds, the ball was thrown at 4 meters. So that's not our answer either. Now, the next piece of information we have is that the maximum height of the ball after it is thrown is 4 meters. So between these two, here we can see that the maximum height this reaches is 4 meters. And the maximum height this reaches is really just the 2 meters that it's thrown at. So we can cross this out. And that leaves A as our answer. Let's just go ahead and check the last point as well. The ball lands on the ground about 2 seconds after it is thrown. So when it lands on the ground, it will have a height of 0 meters. And so at 2 seconds, this ball is on the ground at 0 meters. So it meets this requirement as well. Number 10. Riley is building a tabletop in the shape of a parallelogram. What is the perimeter of the tabletop? So with a parallelogram, the opposite sides are the same. So we've got, if this is 110, this here will also be 110. And if this is 90, this here will also be 90. So let's go ahead and add that up. So 110 plus 90 is 200. And we've got another 200 here. So let's times that by 2. And that will be 400 centimeters. The diameter of a red blood cell is 0.0076 millimeters. Which of these shows the diameter in scientific notation? Alright, so let's write that out. When writing in scientific notation, we want to move the decimal point until we have only one number before the decimal point. So for this, we want to move the decimal point over here. And to do that, it's going to move 1, 2, 3 places. So we're going to have 7.6 times 10 to the power of. Now, because we have moved to the right and made the number bigger, so 7.6 is a bigger number than 0.0076. So whenever we move the decimal point to the right, we need to do to the power of negative 3. So negative of the number of places we've moved. So to get from here to here, we moved 3 places. And so when we write it, we're going to write it at 7.6 times 10 to the power of negative 3. So that will be this. Number 12, Jane and David had identical chocolate bars. David ate 7/8 of his chocolate bar. Jane ate more of her chocolate bar than David. What fraction of her chocolate bar could Jane have eaten? So we really want to check which of these fractions are bigger than 7/8. So let's see. So let's compare with the first option. So 6 out of 7, is that bigger than 7 out of 8? So the way we can compare fractions is by making the denominators the same. So 6 over 7 is the same as, if I multiply by 8 here, 6 over 7 is the same as 42 over 56. And 7 over 8 will be the same as, if I multiply by 7 over 7, 49 over 56. So no, it's not bigger. So that's not our answer. Now I'm going to try 8 over 9. So is 8 over 9 bigger than 7 over 8? Again, let's multiply by 8 here on both sides, and let's multiply by 9 over 9 here. So you're really multiplying by the opposite denominator to get the same denominator for both of them. So 8 times 9 is 72, and 8 times 8 is 64. Is this bigger than 9 times 7, which is 63, over 8 times 9, which is 72? So yeah, now comparing the numerators, 64 is bigger than 63. So 8 over 9 is bigger than 63. So for questions like these, you want to look at the fractions and think about which one looks like the biggest fraction and try them out to check. And do this working where you make the denominators the same to see if it's actually larger than the fraction given in the question. Alright, question 13. Monty and Tara buy pencils for school. Tara buys 2 times the number of pencils Monty buys, plus an additional 4 pencils. Let M be the number of pencils Monty buys. Which expression shows the number of pencils Tara buys? Alright, so we just get rid of this. So M is the number of pencils Monty buys. So Tara buys 2 times the number of pencils Monty buys. So that's going to be 2 times M plus an additional 4 pencils. So it's going to be plus 4. And that's how many pencils Tara buys. So this is 2 times M plus 4, which is what we want. So let's shade that in. Question 14. A fair $1 coin and a fair $2 coin are tossed at the same time. What is the probability that both coins will show tails? Okay, so the probability of getting a tail is a half because you've got 1 heads and 1 tails. So if you flip the first coin, the probability of getting a tail on the $1 coin is half. And then the probability of getting a tail on the $2 coin is also half. So you can multiply them together because you want to have tails and tails. So anytime you want 2 outcomes together, we multiply their probabilities. So that's going to be 1/4. Another way we can do these questions is we can write out all the possibilities. So we can either have heads and heads, heads and tails, tails and heads, and tails and tails. And we have one option that's tail and tails out of 4. So that's also 1/4. All right, let's look at question 15. Myra draws a scale map of Australia on a coordinate grid. She knows that the actual distance between Perth and Sydney is 3,294 kilometers. Which scale should Myra use for her map? So let's look at Perth to Sydney. It's very much a horizontal distance. So on the map, the distance is from 1.3 to 9.2. So if we get what this distance is, so we can do 9.2 minus 1.3. So that's 7.9 horizontally, and vertically the distance is 3.4 minus 3.1. So that little distance is 0.1. So roughly the distance between the two is the edge of 8 squares. And we want that to equal roughly 3294 kilometers. And we can round this off, I guess, to 3300 kilometers. And we want 8 squares to equal that. So let's just divide that. So if you divide that by 8, we're going to have 4 minus 32. 1, pull down the 0. It's 1, take away 8, you have remainder 2, pull down the next 0, it's 2, minus 16, you have a remainder 4. So even if we leave it here, out of the options that we have presented here, 400 kilometers is the closest to 412, so we can just select that. So if each edge is 400 kilometers roughly, then this 8 squares will represent closest to 3,294 kilometers out from the options given here. Question 16. This triangle is reflected across the dotted line and then rotated 90 degrees clockwise. What is the resulting image of the triangle? Okay, so once it's reflected across the dotted line, it will look like this. And then rotated 90 degrees clockwise. So clockwise goes this way. It's the direction that the hands on the clock follow. So after rotating 90 degrees, this point will end up down here. So it will look something like this. So we're looking for a shape that looks like that. That's this. Question 17. The mean age of employees at a company is 40. The median age of employees at the same company is 35. A new employee is hired who is 55 years old. Which of these is possible? The mean age stays the same and the median age increases. Well, if the new employee hired is 55 years old, which is a lot higher than the mean age, it's going to push the mean age of the employees up, because the mean age is made up of adding up all the ages and dividing by how many people there are. Because the number you're adding up is bigger than 40, your mean's going to move up. So that's not it. The mean age stays the same and the median age decreases. Well, it's not going to decrease because the median age is the middle age. So the median age tells us that half of the people are older than 35 at this company and half of the people are younger than 35. in this company. So if we hire another person who's 55 years old, it will either keep the median age the same or move it up, but it's not going to move down, because if there were 5 people aged 35, adding one person who aged 55 will not increase your median age. It will still say 35, but it's not going to decrease. The mean age decreases and the median age increases. Again, no, your median age will go up, or the median age increases and the median age stays the same. So this looks like the likely outcome. Vicky and Anya are saving money for a holiday. Vicky has $300 and plans to save $20 each week. Anya has $250 and plans to save $30 each week. After how many weeks will Vicky and Anya have saved the same amount? Okay, so Vicky has saved $300 plus she's saving $20 each week. So we're going to let W represent the number of weeks. And Anya is saving has saved $250 and is going to be saving $30 per week. And we want to know at how many weeks will they have saved the same amount. So when will this equal this? So let's work that out. So let's minus 250 from both sides. So that will get rid of this. And we're going to have 50 plus 20W equals 30W. Now I'm going to minus 20W from both sides to get rid of this. And we're going to have 50 equals 10W. Now let's divide by 10 on both sides. And we're going to have 5 equals W. So after 5 weeks, they should both have the same amount saved. Let's check that. So 300 plus 20 times 5 gives us $400. And 250 plus 30 times 5, so 30 times 5 is 150, plus 250 also gives us $400. So we have just checked that it's correct. Question 19. Select the statement that is true about triangle ABC. Triangle ABC is a scalene triangle. Remember, angles in a triangle add up to 180 degrees. So if this is 90 and this is 45, this here will be 180 minus 90 plus 45. And that's 180 minus 135, which is 45 as well. Triangle ABC is an isosceles triangle. Well, yes, because in an isosceles triangle, 2 sides and 2 angles are the same. So for this side and this side will be the same because these 2 angles are the same. Scalene triangle means all sides and all angles are different. Equilateral triangle means all angles are the same, which is not the case in this question. And obtuse triangle means one side is between 90 and 180 degrees, which is not the case here. So our answer is this one. Question 20. A group of 105 people were asked if they are left-handed or right-handed. This table shows the results. A man was selected at random. What is the probability that he is left-handed? So a man was selected at random. So we're only choosing people out of the 50 men. So that's our denominator. And we want the probability that out of these men, the person picked is left-handed. So there are 15 left-handed men out of 50 total men. And that is the same as 30 over 100 if you multiply by 2. And so that will be 0.30 as a decimal. So that's going to be this. Which of the following is always equal to x minus y? So the sign before the letter belongs to it. So this is a negative x. So that's not this. This is a negative x. It's not this. Here it's again a negative x. It's not this. here we have a positive x, and the sign before y here is negative. So here it says negative as well. So it's this one. So remember, x minus y is the same as minus y plus x. It's like we're taking this and shifting it to the front. So it becomes minus y plus x. A plan of the lawn in Pat's backyard is shown. Pat wants to fertilize the lawn in her backyard and needs to know the total area. What is the total area of Pat's lawn in square meters? So we can break this into two shapes, a triangle and a square. And this area will be 3 times 3, 9 meters squared. And this triangle has, if it's a triangle on its side. So if you draw it here by flipping it, the height of the triangle is 2 meters. And this base is 3 meters. So the area will be half times base times height, so half times 3 times 2, which is 3 meters squared. And 3 plus 9 is 12 meters squared for the whole lawn. Glenn has 6 cups of sugar. A biscuit recipe uses 3/4 of a cup of sugar for each batch. What is the greatest number of batches Glenn can make? So we really want to divide 6 cups of sugar with 3/4 of a cup that each batch uses. So we want to do 6 divided by 3/4. So 6 can be written as 6 over 1. And anytime you're dividing by another fraction, it's the same as multiplying by the reciprocal of the fraction. So we can write this as 6 over 1 times 4 over 3. That's going to be, I'm going to just simplify this first, and that will be 8. So the greatest number of batches Glenn can make is 8. Paul is playing a guess my number game. He gives these clues about his number. My number is a square number. My number is divisible by 2 and 9. My number has 2 digits. Alright, so first let's write out all the 2-digit square numbers. So square numbers are the answer when you multiply a number by itself. So we've got 4 times 4, which is 16. 5 times 5, which is 25. 6 times 6, which is 36. 7 times 7. 8 times 8. And 9 times 9, which is 81. So these are our 2-digit square numbers. So 10 times 10 is 100, which is 3 digits. So we can ignore that. Now we know the number is divisible by 2 and 9. If it's divisible by 2, it has to be an even number. So we can get rid of those 3. It's divisible by 9 as well. So 16 is not divisible by 9. 64 is not divisible by 9. 36 is. 36 divided by 9 is 4. And it's an even number, so it's divisible by 2 as well, which gives us 18. So what's Paul's number? Well, it's 36. Leslie has read 5/8 of a 256-page book. Which decimal shows how much of the book Leslie has read? So we want to convert 5/8 into a decimal. So let's do that. So a fraction is really the numerator being divided by the denominator. So we can do that. Now 8 doesn't go into 5, so we put a decimal point at a 0. And 8 goes into 56 times. So 8 times 6 is 48. That leaves a remainder of 2. Add another 0. 8 goes into 22 times. Minus 16. Remainder 4. Add another 0. 8 goes into 45 times. And now we have no remainders. So 5/8 as a decimal is 0.625. That's this. Jason wants to multiply 35 by 62. Which of these expressions will give Jason the correct answer? 30 times 60 plus 5 times 2. Well, it's not this, because here we're not doing 30 times 2, which we need to do in this as well. So 30 times 2 plus 60 times 5. Again, it's not this because they've missed doing 30 times 60 in this question. Here we're doing 30 times 62 plus 5 times 62. That looks correct. So this 35 can be written as 30 plus 5. So as long as you're multiplying 30 with 62 and then adding 5 times 62, we'll still get the same answer, which is what this is doing, 30 times 62 plus 5 times 62. And let's look at the last one, 30 times 60 plus 30 times 2, good, plus 60 times 5. But it's missing the 60 times 30 option, so it has to be C. Number 27. Holly is saving to buy her first car. She created a table to keep track of her savings, number of months, amount in Holly's savings account. So this is how much she has saved at that month. Complete the rule for the linear relationship. So that means this has the relationship of y equals mx plus c between the amount of money in Holly's saving account and the number of months of saving. Alright, so we know that it's going to be y equals mx plus c. Well, we are told that this is 230. And y represents the amount in the savings account and x represents the month. So if we take this set of data point, we know that when x equals 2, y equals 310. So I'm just going to put that information in. So 310 equals m times 2 plus 230. So let's minus 230 from both sides, and we're going to be left with 80 equals 2m. And now let's divide by 2 on both sides, and we're going to have m equals 40. So let's just check that. Does 40 times 2 plus 230 equal 310? So 40 times 2 is 80 plus 230 is 310. We can try it on a different data point as well. So does 40 times 10 plus 230 equal 630? 40 times 10 is 400 plus 230 does equal 630. So we've done a check as well, and that works. So in the exam, when you have the extra time, if you finish the exam early, you can come back and do these checks just to make sure you've gotten your number correct. Michelle bought a pair of sunglasses which cost $19.50 before the goods and services tax. How much did Michelle's sunglasses cost after adding 10% GST? So we want to find 10% of $19.50, which is the same as, so 10% is the same as multiplying by 0.1. And anytime you multiply by 0.1, all you're doing is moving your decimal point back one place. $1.95 is your GST. So how much did Michelle's sunglasses cost after adding the GST? So we're going to do $19.50 plus $1.95. 11. And that's going to be $21. And that's going to be $21.45. Question 29. Harper has a tablecloth with an area of 3 square meters. What is the area of this tablecloth in square centimeters? Alright, so for this question, we need to know that 1 meter is the same as 100 centimeters. And when it's 1 meter squared, and 1 meter squared is the same as 100 centimeters squared. So in other words, 1 meter squared is the same as 100 times 100, which is 10,000 centimeters squared. So 3 meters squared will be 3 times 10,000 centimeters squared, which is 30,000 centimeters squared. Sam rents a truck from a hire company. The cost to rent the truck is directly proportional to the number of kilometers driven. The rental cost to drive 200 kilometers is $87.50. What is the rental cost to drive 80 kilometers? So one way we can think about this is we can first divide the cost for 200 kilometers by 10 to get the cost to drive 20 kilometers. So $87.50 divided by 10 gives us $8.750, and this is to drive 20 kilometers. So to drive 80 kilometers, which is where you're driving 4 times 20 kilometers, it will cost 4 times $8.75. So let's work that out. 4 times 5 is 20. 4 times 7 is 28. 29, 30. And 8 times 4 is 32. Plus 3 is 35. So it will cost $35 to drive 80 kilometers. Mona can walk from home to school following the roads, or she can cut across a vacant block as shown in the diagram below. Along the roads, she walks 600 meters east and 800 meters south. How many meters less does she walk by going across the vacant block? Alright, so this here is a right angle triangle. So we can use the Pythagoras theorem to get the longest side. And the Pythagoras theorem tells us that a squared plus b squared equals c squared. So first I'm going to redraw this as this is the same as 6 times 100, and this is the same as 8 times 100. So to find c here, I'm going to just sub in 6 and 8, and once I have c, I'll times it by 100 to get the actual length. So let's do that. So we've got 6 squared plus 8 squared equals c squared. That's 36 plus 64 equals c squared. 36 plus 64 is 100 equals c squared. So c will be 10 because 10 times 10 is 100. So this here is, this length is 10. So 10 times 100 is 1000. So this actual length is 1000 meters. So how many meters less does she walk? Well, we need to add up these two numbers first. So she would have walked 600 plus 800, which is 1400 meters if she took the path. But by cutting across, where she's walking only 1000 meters, she's walking 400 meters less than she would have. This table shows the receiving areas of 2 large radio telescopes. What is the ratio of the receiving area of the ASCAP telescope to the receiving area of the SCA telescope? Alright, so again, so we know that this is 1 square kilometer. So 1 kilometer square is the same as 1,000 meters squared. And the way to do this conversion is to remember, if 1 kilometer is 1000 meters, 1 kilometer squared will be 1000 squared meters squared. So 1000 squared is 1,000 or 1 million meters squared. So this is 456 meters squared. And now let's compare between the two. So we want the ratio of the ASCAP as compared to SCA. So ASCAP is 4000 square meters and SCA is 1 million. And let's simplify this. So we cross out 1 0, 2 zeros, 3 zeros, and then let's divide by 4 on both sides. And that's going to be 1 to 250. So that will be this. I hope you found that useful. Leave any comments if you want further clarifications or if you found a different way to do a question.